Hey, what's up 4K gamers? Welcome to 4K Gaming Tutorials. We finally have the Ryzen 7 1700X video for the CPU benchmarks, and we're going to go ahead and get started with that, trying to keep it as short as possible. I know it's been like a really long time since Ryzen launched, not like super long, but I mean it seems like a long time, and I actually have been able to use this enough to do a 30-day challenge on it. I just haven't had enough time to do videos or ability to do videos. So with that being said, we're gonna jump right into this. So our scores for user benchmark are gaming 99%, nuclear submarine. That's always awesome, right? Everyone likes to be a nuclear submarine, but not as much as being a UFO at 101% on a workstation, which that is actually quite impressive because, you know, workstations usually have like really high core counts and they're built for like maybe half processor content creation kind of stuff. So that's cool. And we get a nuclear submarine 96% rating for desktop. The thing that's kind of weird about this is that it says PC status overall has red, but most of the stuff is green. That doesn't really, like, why would this be red? If this were overall, then one of these would be like yellow or red, wouldn't they? It's kind of weird. I don't know why that is. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and down here. This is all of our specs in a nutshell, kind of. Can feel free to pause and look at that. We'll keep going down here. It says performing as expected in the 46th percentile, so that's pretty good, although it did get an excellent rating at 87.4, and this is all of our core performance points, and I guess this is our individual test that it runs for percentage. And user benchmark never picks up if you're running SLI cards, so I'm not sure why that is. That's just the way it is. So we do have SLI 1080s, and it doesn't also tell you which one it chose, because I have a ROG Strix and an EVGA superclocked, so we don't really have any way of knowing. The max clock was in 1900s, so since they aren't overclocked when I did this test, I would have to assume that it chose the ROG, but it doesn't say, so there are the scores, and it doesn't test for DirectX 11. Very odd. You know, maybe it would detect DirectX 11 if I could speak properly, but no, I can't speak properly, so it won't. I would actually expect for it to do that and not do DirectX 12, but perhaps their benchmarks are a little behind. I'm not sure. But it seems to be a pretty good indicator, and it gives you a bunch of other people's statistics, so that's good. We get an outstanding for our SSD RAID array, so that's always good. Then we have all of our drives. One for 4 terabytes, our 5 terabyte, and the 250 that got oddball out because it had one but it didn't have enough SATA slots, so the other one in this RAID array pair is up on the other computer. Contemplating using it for another build, but that's all the stuff for that. Usually don't go too much off these. This one is the one that the operating system is installed on, so if it's going 97th percentile and 166% outstanding, then that is amazing, and all this stuff really doesn't matter, because that's what the operating system is on, and these are mainly storage drives for all the 4K videos that I do for the channel, so it's like, it could help stuff potentially, but I just don't really bother with it that much. And the memory kit, Amazon happened with this too, because originally we had this memory, no, I think we had another memory. I can't remember which one it was, but we got it sent to us and it wouldn't work. It didn't work. We put it through memtest, had 170 something thousand errors, and like, I don't know, I want to say 25%. I'm pretty sure it was like 25, 27% through the test. And we're like, we need to send this back, so we did, and this memory works now, although it is in the 4th percentile and average 40. Not even gonna go there. Just not even gonna go there. Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. Oh well. It does work. It seems to be fairly fast. I haven't noticed any kind of bottlenecking features. It just doesn't perform well against others, apparently. Anyway, moving on. Our CPU-Z actually works this time, because the first time that I was trying to record this video like a month ago, the CPU-Z would go up to 65% and then it would freeze. It would freeze so bad even Task Manager couldn't get it off the screen. You actually had to restart the computer to get it off the screen. So it actually works now and registers everything properly. So these are all the specs for it. We don't have it overclocked really. Haven't really felt the need to overclock it either, but I guess we could if we wanted to. Doesn't seem like anybody can really get it, especially the extended frequency range. It doesn't exactly work as I had hoped. It's like, we'll boost it up to that advertised speed for one core, but you're gonna have to dumb down a bit to be able to get it on all the cores. I'm like, that's just rotten. That really is just rotten. Like, if you're gonna advertise that it can do that, it needs to be doing on all cores, or you're gonna need to specify that it doesn't do it on all cores. And it's just, I don't know. It upsets me greatly that it can't overclock to 3.8 on all cores, or 3.6. I forgot what the advertised extended frequency range is, but it really doesn't matter, because if you're going to manually overclock this, then that would be good. That would be much better than extended frequency range, but oh well. And it also won't go over 4 on manual either. A lot of YouTubers like Jay's 2 Cents have tried that as well, and it doesn't do it. So I'm like, well, crap. If he can't do it, how am I supposed to do it right? Although I did attempt to do it. It wouldn't boast. It's just awful. So you had to clear the CMOS and go back and make sure everything's okay, and it's not very advisable to increase voltage. So yeah, this is what we have. It does perform extremely well, I have to say. I don't have any other 8-core 16-threaded computer to compare it to, though it's replacing my let's see, it's a 6-core Haswell. I forget exactly the build number, but it's an Intel 6-core Haswell with hyperthreading, so it does have 2 more cores and 4 more threads, so it's already kind of ahead, and it has lower max TDP, so that's also good. Take a quick stroll through here. Feel free to pause. I'll try not to spend too much more time than I already have rambling about that. And then we have our graphics, and see, this one registers that it has both of them, but for some reason UserBench is like, how dare you try to run SLI in a system? We aren't going to give you the gratitude of giving you the benches for them. So there's that. And for our benchmarks, we actually have down here Cinebench. So we already have run through these, so we don't have to do that on camera. The OpenGL gave us 93 frames per second. Thought that was very nice, and it was very smooth, so that's good. Let's see, we can do that. OpenGL, it gave us higher than everything, all the default references, by about 30% too. Very nice, very nice. The reference match it gave for us is a little more up there. It's kind of in the middle of the reference match category. And for CPU, it also knocked it out of the park, even beating an Intel Xeon with 12 cores and 24 threads, although it does have a much higher core clock, so that may have been a contributing factor. But there are all of those scores. In single core, it ranked third against an i7 with 6 cores, 12 threads, and against the 4 core 8 thread. So might not be the best workhorse on the single core, but there aren't really that many single core tests out there to be done, are there? Well, I haven't noticed any, and I also haven't noticed any degradation in performance, although, as stated previously, I don't have all of these, so I couldn't test them myself, although it does seem to be very, very well for content creation, gaming, and encoding, all that good stuff. All that stuff, it's like, oh, why aren't you faster? So that's good. The last thing we have is we have the content creation benchmarks, which I did about a month ago, maybe. They are covering zipping files, or RARs, that we use WinRAR 64-bit. So we have that, and we also have the Adobe Premiere Pro, and to keep it kind of short and simple, we have them on timers. So we have a timer over here, and we have the rendering going on over here, so we can speed up the video and won't make it any longer than it already is. Okay, so our next test we're going to do 7-zip. Just right click this file here. This is an upcoming webcam 4K video for the Logitech Brio. So we shot it with our 4K camera, which is a Panasonic Lumix G7. And well, this is the largest file we have. It's 4K video, so it should be fairly taxing to try to archive 4 gigabytes, or nearly 4 gigabytes. So this is all of our settings. We're going to leave it at sort of stock. I guess that's what you'd call it. We haven't really done anything to mess with the settings. Just right click, add to archive, and we'll click OK. We'll start a stopwatch, and we also have this on our local C drive RAID array to make sure that this is all the CPU and there's no bottlenecking from anything. So we have our stopwatch going to capture the accurate time and not just the remaining estimated time. So we'll be back as soon as it's finished to make sure we try to keep this video as short as possible without trying to wait for this whole thing to go through real time. Okay, it just finished at 5 minutes and 10 seconds, although it took me like 6 seconds to find my mouse and put it over there. So all that aside, the estimated time was actually fairly accurate. I think it was like 4 something. It may have done a little bit more, but it stayed consistently at compressing 12 megabytes per second, and it actually on the last about 30% went up to 13 megabytes per second, so that's fairly good. And the last test we have to do is sort of content creation, which is Adobe Premiere Pro. We get this loaded up here, and we have the project with the same file we just used from the 4K webcam Brio. If you want to check out that video once it's up, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, and you will be notified of when we post this video and all of our other awesome videos on this channel. So we will go ahead and export it, H.264, and our preset for YouTube ultra high definition 4K video at 30 frames a second, of course. So we'll hit export, and where did we go? We have our Where'd it go? Okay, we have our trusty stopwatch starting to do this. Since our estimated time is about 22 minutes, it just changed to 23 minutes. And for some reason, Adobe Premiere always likes to have its estimated time remaining going the wrong way. So this will continue to increase along with the percent, which makes absolutely no sense at all. And main reason why I don't really use this as a guide. So we'll just keep that running there side by side, and we'll probably wind up time-lapsing through that. And that's about it. As far as my Ryzen 30-day challenge, I may make a separate video for that. But as far as we are right now, I haven't really made any plans for that being a video or not. Although to kind of touch on it now that we're doing CPU benchmarks, and the next video will be about GPU benchmarks with the Ryzen. As stated, we have 1080 SLI, so that should be interesting. My gaming on here so far has been actually pretty stellar. It doesn't really seem to have any GPU bottlenecks. I don't really play that many CPU intensive games. I still can't talk, I apologize. Any CPU intensive games, so that is, I guess, why I haven't had that many problems with it. I'm not sure, but the performance gain from a 6-core 12-thread system is definitely noticeable, especially when you're going through things like a timeline or adding effects. Of course, I don't actually showcase that in the video. It's basically just rendering a 4K video, although that's from my personal experience in having to render these videos to put them on YouTube. So that's pretty much it. If you want more of a detailed response or have individual questions, feel free to do that in the comments below. If this video helps you and gave you a better understanding of Ryzen, make sure you hit that like button. If all my tests were awful and you wish I would get better tests, please leave a comment about that, and feel free to dislike if you really feel the need to. And as always, subscribe. If you really want to see new videos the moment they come out, then make sure you're subscribed to do that. And we will be having more Ryzen videos, as we have a few more for this motherboard. And then we have a few more upcoming for the Adobe Eye Tracker. And we also have a Logitech 4K Brio, which I also have in the Adobe Premiere. And in the Adobe Premiere portion, that was that 4K webcam Brio.mp4 file that the Adobe Premiere Pro is rendering. So, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.